everyone. Hi, everyone.
Aloha.
Aloha. I'm trying to connect on the internet here, but in the meantime, I can see y'all on the big screen, so I'm gonna do my best. I have my glasses on. Hopefully I can see you all. Okay, we are calling the meeting to order at 2:33 p.m. And we will take a roll here. I am Kat Odell and I'm here. Michael?
Here.
Joe
Philip?
Tolbe here.
Joe Tolbe, thank you. Philip, are you here? Oh, you know what? I need to ask Philip too that you let me know if anyone is in the room with you.
No one here with me.
Thank you, Philip.
That was Joe. That was Joe.
Hi, Philip.
Hi, that was Joe answering your question about me.
Oh.
No one in the room with me. Thank you.
All right, thank you both, Philip and Joe. Shanda?
I am here and there is no one in the room with me.
Thank you. And then Sandy?
Hi, making sure I'm okay. Hi, I'm here. Oh, hi, I'm here. There's no one in here with me.
Thank you. And Rocco?
Hi, I'm here. There's nobody in the room with me.
Great. And Rick?
I am here, nobody in the room.
Fantastic. Wow, everyone's here. Love it. Okay, and then our ex-officios. Let's see who is here. Beth, do we have you here today?
Yes, I'm here. No
Okay,
one in
good
the
evening.
room.
Okay, thanks, Beth. And then Camaron, are you here today? He is not. Let's see, and then I have David Rodriguez. Not here. And Signy, are you here today? Nakamura Dureza?
Yes, I'm here. No one in the room with me.
Thank you. Kristen Hakushi, are you here today? She is not. Okay. And Thad, are you here today? Thaddeus Pham? Not here. Okay. All
I
right,
saw
thank you.
This is Shanda. I saw Thaddeus at an earlier meeting and he did indicate that he's intending to come.
Okay, perhaps they'll be joining us by and by. And I cannot really see from my distance who else is on, but did we cover everyone?
Okay, Joe Wilson's here.
Oh. Hi, Joe, welcome.
Aloha.
Anybody else in the room with you, Joe Wilson?
Sorry, no, I'm in my office alone.
Thank you.
Vivian Van Morgan is a guest.
Hello.
Is there anybody in the room with you, Vivian?
No, just me.
Commissioners, you don't have to ask the public if there's anyone with them. It's only just for the commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I see that Aaron is on. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Danielle Bergen.
Danielle, welcome.
Thank you.
Rashi.
Rashi. Welcome, Rashi.
And then an HSC SWED.
HSC.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome. Thank
you.
you. All right. Okay.
Oh, and Kristen's now on.
Oh, Kristen, welcome. Kristen, if it's possible to text me the internet and password, I would love that because it may have changed. It won't let me on.
Okay, I can come in and help you.
Oh, thank you. You're better. Wonderful. Okay. And so.
Madam Chair, in the chat, I put a little link to the board packet because we did get late testimony that was added to the board packet last night. And so, so that's there.
Thank you so much. All right, if you'll all reference your board packet, Kristen is gonna kindly come in and log me in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And since it deals with something later on the agenda, I think we can move forward.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll start with ongoing business and updates with our commissioners share outs. Who would like to share first?
We have you first on the, anything that was submitted to the board packet with the, price outline for the business cards from, print.
Yes, so thank you, Kristen. I did get that, and I put that in the board packet. However, after that, they emailed me and let me know that there is a startup cost too. So it does seem like if only one person was getting like, say, 100 or less business cards, it's probably pretty pricey. So if anybody decides to make business cards on one of the other many online platforms, for example, and has a template that they're using, maybe we can share that out. That's probably a more cost-effective way to do it. And if I have time between the, I'll look into that as well, and share that with you all.
Just remember, everybody, that if you plan on trying to get reimbursed for those things, you do have to go through procurement processes, and that includes 2 quotes, minimum 2 quotes, before moving forward to ensure you actually can get reimbursed following the rules.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I was just gonna purchase them.
Oh.
But anybody
Yeah.
else who wants to try that, yes. Thank you for reminding everyone.
If I can.
Please.
I added 2 new things, this morning to the board pack, to my concerns. First one is making sure everybody saw that, Gliston's report card for Hawaii, we got a B-. You can see the full report card, it's linked in the board report. The commission was actually named in that report, pointing out the fact that we do not have an age restriction on for our commissioners. So we could actually have, youth on this commission as it stands now. So, where other state commissions actually would not allow youth, and that's the reason I think they called that out. The other thing is the federal attack on Title IX. We're seeing with House Resolution, House Bill 28 at the federal level. There's a request for everybody to reach out to our representatives and ask them to vote no. A letter was sent this morning from advocates from one of the advocate organizations with a letter calling upon them not to pass Title IX, what they're looking at doing there, just so everybody knows. That is, it's basically a trans athletic ban. Forcing trans students to compete in their the birth sex that was designated at birth. So, and it does some other nasty things. On the brighter side, there is going to be a Hawaii bill introduced that will enshrine Title IX as it currently stands with the Biden support of trans students, and that will be introduced at the state level. So that's something to keep a lookout for. Again, I'm going to push out the Victory Empowerment Fellowship. If you are there looking for leaders of color and transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming individuals, they have it's a 6-month fellowship, and they will pay. It will help. It covers your cost and also help get you to the. And I think if you get the fellowship, they will also take you to the get you to their training. So be on the lookout for that. If you know of anybody that's thinking of running for office or helping someone to run for office from our community. Again, I'm going to I put in there traveling under the commission funds, just so everybody's aware, there is no more last minute stuff. We do need to follow all the procurement laws when it comes to traveling. And that includes filling out those forms, doing the, finding all the quotes that are required. All the instructions are there. If you have any questions, reach out. But this does need to be completed before traveling, ideally as soon as possible, especially if you plan on coming to a meeting at least 2 weeks out to give time, so we can get it all processed and all the forms done. And that is even when we get a secretary or administrative assistant, we're not gonna be able to put everything on the administrative assistant when it comes to this, because they have, besides our commission, the other commission and other duties that they're gonna have to be responsible for. That we all need to, if we plan on traveling on the commission dime, that these forms do need to be filled out. And, I follow the training there. A lot of it's pretty much self-explanatory with the training involved there. For those of you on Oahu, I encourage you all to participate in the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. It's this coming Monday. It's also Inauguration Day. And I do want to point out, this will be our last meeting with a friendly, supportive federal government. A week from today, we're already seeing with the attack in Title IX and the rumors of all the other executive orders coming down, that we're going to need to be on our toes and not to overreact, but be able to also making sure that everybody doesn't just automatically comply just because they heard of an executive order via Twitter or whatever that other thing he uses. And that's all I got. Oh, one more thing, sorry, I didn't. Something to put on everybody else's radar, it's something we need to think about for our trans community, especially those, I know of at least 2 people that are living in shelters in the transgender community because they cannot, they're kapuna. They do not have they really don't have any social security coming in at all because when they did not have gainful employment most of their adult lives because of discrimination and everything else that we're dealing with that. So that's something that I think that's something the commission needs to start thinking about how we can help address that. And that's something that was brought up at a meeting I was at last month. And it was again brought up at the conference we all went to.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you so much for putting the links to all the travel forms. I know you all, that's very difficult to figure all that out, especially if you're not used to doing that for the state. But the sooner you can do it and the earlier you can do it, and if you do everything correctly, it will benefit you because you'll get reimbursed faster, right? So thank you again for putting all those links in there. That's very convenient. Okay, who else would like to give comments or concerns?
I would like to. This is Shanda. Hi. Speaking of reimbursement, I have received copies of receipts from a few people. I think it was in their request for reimbursement. I know people have submitted multiple requests for reimbursement, and actually it's if we could get an update on the status of that, that would be super. But more relevant to myself is I don't have everyone's request for reimbursement and receipts to kind of keep track of as far as our budget goes. So if everyone can just resend me copies of anything, even if you think I have it, because I think there's quite a bit that I did not get originally, I would appreciate it, and I will be able to do a better job of tracking our budget. Thank you.
Thank you for that reminder. So we may be emailing them to Kristen, but also we should be emailing them to Shanda so that she can keep track of all of them and our budget. Great. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay,
Shanda. Okay, so
go ahead, please. So Kristen raised her hand. Kristen, you want to comment on that?
Sorry. Shanda, I'll send you all the travel reimbursements and stuff like that I have that are either in queue or getting completed, so you can have it on your end. And then anything reimbursement that Pat has sent me as well, and then I will send it to you as well.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Very helpful. And Joe, you have your hand up? You have some comments?
yeah, I was just going to tell Shanda that Kristen had all my information since the very beginning, and I hope she still have me on that list.
Yes, I have you on the list. So I'm actually
thank you so
trying
much.
to push we had something happen, so I'm kind of like redoing it all right now
I
to
appreciate
push all of you guys through ASAP.
Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, Shanda doesn't have the power to get that pushed through the way that's on Kristen's end, but Shanda just has to keep track for us for our budget. Thank you, Joe. Joe, did you have anything else you wanted to share or any concerns?
I'm
No,
sorry,
I
can I
just
say one more thing? If people can also tell me when you got reimbursed, that I can keep track of that too. Thanks.
Perfect. I'm sorry, Joe, anything else?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
All right, nice to have you back this meeting. And then who else would like to give some?
Kat,
Yes.
I do. This is Philip. I just have a question about the agenda, just because I'm trying to take minutes.
Yeah.
So we went through the, like, Roman numeral 1, introduction and roll call all the way through. And then at the bottom of my agenda, it says number 7, comment on receipt of written testimony. And then on the top of the next review, we didn't do that. We went right to commissioner shares. Did I misunderstand something, or I just want to make sure I get it right since I'm trying to write everything down.
Oh, right, okay, I think we were gonna wait on the testimony because
Oh,
we have to do one of the items, but.
Oh, we can't go back. Oh, yeah, we should go back to number 7 because of the one piece of testimony from Rick Ramirez.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I forgot about that one.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
I just want to make sure I get it right. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and let the other commissioners share, and then we'll move back to 7. Okay. And then Rick, you have your hand up, I see you.
Yes, just to mention that Rick Ramirez sent us that. The gist of this is that the new law does not allow for nurse practitioner or advanced practice registered nurses to submit information that would allow change information on their documents. It requires an MD or a PA, physician's assistant. And Shanda also knows about this, and maybe Shanda, you probably would be better. Would you mind telling them what that's about?
I think it's in the board packet as well, right?
The testimony,
The
yes.
testimony, yeah.
Yes, I'm more than happy to provide any information when we get to that. Or if you want me to now, can.
Can't really discuss it since it wasn't on the agenda. It's just recognizing that we did get this testimony, and just so everybody knows that unless somebody makes a motion to put it on the agenda, but I think Aaron would say that this is of broader community concern, and we'd want to see more input on this in a future meeting. Also, just so everybody, because we got it so late, there's really nothing we can do it for this session when it comes to for this coverage. Just everybody to make sure you're aware of this. And there is one clarifying thing. This only deals with birth certificates. When you're looking at changing your gender markers on birth certificates, it is not dealing with driver's license or state IDs, because that is not a requirement anymore. We took out that requirement a couple of years ago when it comes to changing your gender markers for your state IDs and birth certificates and your driver's license and state IDs. So that we look at this at a future meeting.
So, okay, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I just had a question. So is it because we don't have to get it in before the new legislation can be proposed? Would that qualify as a urgent request? Something that we could look at for it? Wondering if we can act on it, no?
Sorry, you faded in and out a little bit, but you were trying to say, did this qualify as urgent? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I understand that proposed legislative requests have to be in by the 21st this month. And given the time frame, is that something we could look at for responding to? Or we wouldn't be able to, because we couldn't craft the legislation. That's why we shouldn't do it.
We can't discuss it nor vote on it when it's not on the agenda and it came to us late with the problem. So in the meantime, for the next meeting, if there's something that you all want to propose to have on the agenda, you can let me know, and certainly everyone can research this a little bit and speak one-on-one with Shanda if she wants to share any information with anyone. That would all be fine, but yeah, that's the reason.
And there's nothing that stops anybody on this room or on this call from reaching out to a legislator and see if they can get something drafted before deadline. But you probably will get some really weird looks from legislators at this later date on something. So.
Okay, let's see. Rocco, did you have anything?
I don't have any concerns to share other than what's already outlined in the packet. I feel like it's pretty much covering all of our concerns right now.
Thank you. And Sandy? Sandy, I can't tell if you're speaking.
Yeah, sorry, I have something up for sound. Let me, can you hear?
Like, sideways.
We could hear you, Sandy, if you want to proceed. Or we could hear you.
Other than all of the things we've been talking about,
Sorry, you just came in at the end of that. What were you saying? One more time?
I was saying, I don't have anything to add to the concerns that we have already.
Thank you, Sandy. All right, public testimony. Anyone else would like to share comments or concerns? All right, then we're gonna move on to number 2, debriefing the conference, the Rainbow Resilience Conference that many got to attend on Friday. So, yep, we had a booth there and many of the commissioners were there to staff the booth, and also several presented. So Michael presented and Rocco presented, and who else?
That is.
And who?
That is.
Oh, and Thaddeus, yes, Thaddeus presented as well. Would anyone like to give any comments or debrief on their experience with the conference?
I just want everybody to know that we picked up 11 new people that for our that get our meeting notice from that event. So
That's great. We had our QR codes on the table so that they can get signed up. And Rocco, you have your hand up?
I just wanted to comment on my experience at that conference. I just want to share how encouraged I was to hear everybody reiterating how much we need to support our trans community moving into this next administration. I feel like the fire is under everybody to kind of refocus this. So I just wanted to share that that was a really awesome thing to kind of hear as the resounding, you know, baseline note that it is absolutely on everybody's mind. So I'm really glad that our commission seems to really pay attention to this. And I don't feel like we're taking that for granted, that these are issues that are affecting our community directly. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Thank you, Rocco. Yeah, 100% agree. Anyone else? Joe?
I just want to ask a question to Joe Wilson. Joe, were there very many young trans people there, or any actually any of the older crowd from the Glades there, or is just predominantly all young kids?
Joe, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to attend that day because I was home with the flu and cold. So hopefully somebody else can answer that question.
Thank you.
Thaddeus, he has his hand up.
Actually, Joe, I can answer your question. Yeah, so actually all the generations of our different communities were present. So
awesome.
Lots of people who are working with who are like college age, all the way up to our Kapuna, and some ladies from the Glades that I recognize. So especially our Mahu, Cutie Pie communities and our neighbor island folks were there as well. So it was really well represented. I think there were about 300 something people locally who had attended. And like Rocco had said, you know, I think this commission in particular is really just on the money in terms of what the needs are, in terms of what I heard. So, and Rocco, by the way, did a fantastic job on his panel. So I just want to kind of give props to Rocco for that. And then finally, I think the only other thing that maybe the commission might consider in terms of coming out of this conference is more involvement with our Native Hawaiian and Pacifica people. So either having them, you know, attend more regularly or having commission members from that community in the future. But that was the only other comment that I would make. Thank you so much, everyone who attended.
Excellent suggestion. And Thaddeus, the conference was just amazing. I was so impressed by the variety of things that were going on, and just it was like hard to even choose what to do. Maybe just real quick for those who didn't get to attend, Rocco, can you tell us all what you presented on?
Sure. I was just a part of a panel that was discussing, you know, harm reduction in a practical way in our communities. And of course, as a bar owner, myself and Robbie Baldwin from Scarlet have our own ideas about what that looks like in our venues. And it was just really helpful also to have Kiki and Paige, who were, you know, in a community, but also kind of, you know, dealing with harm reduction on a practical level in their world too. It was just interesting how all of these paths cross, you know, all of us have the same amount of concern for one another. And that's just the biggest thing, is those continued conversations, keeping us aware of what's happening is an easier way for us to protect each other. So that was I really enjoyed that.
Thank you. And then Michael, do you want to tell everyone what you presented about?
Yeah, sure. I was representing Pride Work Hawaii as the president, and I presented Advocacy 101 with Blake Oshiro from Capital Consultants, and then Jen Wilbur from Planned Parenthood. And so I'm going to put into the chat our slides. So for those of you who weren't able to make it, it's the first part of it. It's very much self-guided, because there's a lot of stuff that comes exactly from PAR for those of us, especially for those of you who are attending their first commission meeting, to be able to help lower the barrier between you and the Capitol. And one of the things I took away from that, all of the whole experience, is a reminder that advocacy happens all year round, not just during the legislative session. And there's many different ways that we can advocate, and that we're going to have to look at all these to help protect everybody as we move forward. That it's not just through legislative actions, it's making sure that our government's actually enacting the laws that are passed, and finding out where at the county levels the ball may be dropping or not be dropping, and we can shout out those wonderful things there.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really good slide deck, lots of information. And then Thaddeus, did you want to say anything about any pieces that you specifically presented about, besides pretty much running the thing?
Oh, no, I was on the panel. I was coordinating the panel that Rocco was on, so Rocco shared it perfectly. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments regarding the conference, or any thoughts about, Thaddeus, is this going to be yearly? Is it next year also?
I think they're planning on every odd year, just in terms of capacity, in terms of putting it on. But I'll share this feedback that I've heard here with the planners, so that they know that it was well received.
Absolutely, and I know that we will look forward to playing a role in that when you all do it again, whether it's next year or the year after. I'm sure that we can all find new ways to help out with it, beyond just having our booth, which was obviously very successful. So we're very pleased about that. All right. Thank you very much. And now I will ask Kristen, are there any updates on hiring an administrative assistant?
Oh, from the public.
Oh, I'm sorry. Public testimony on the conference. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So real quick, I thought, Joe, were you raising your hand? I wasn't sure if Joe.
Yes, I was just gonna ask, number-wise, how many people were there as far as the students?
Oh, as far as students, I don't know. I'll go ahead and request a breakdown generally of who attended, and I can share that back with the commission, since you folks are requesting it.
Thank you,
I'll send an email right now.
That's actually a really good question, Joe, because I was thinking that if it had been after the semester starts today, I would have given the opportunity to my 300 students.
Wow.
So just saying, if it happens when the semester starts and not during the break, we might have a better shot at getting more of the young people there, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But the only reason we're able to have it at UH is because school is out.
Oh, that was why?
Yeah.
Darn it. Okay.
And be able to control all those, be able to have access to all those meeting spaces.
I see.
Otherwise, it's, you know, UH.
That makes sense.
So.
Hmm.
And so since we now know that it's every other year, maybe something that we all look towards is putting together, the commission putting something together in an even number of years as a holdover between the two. Maybe not something that is huge, but start off small. So something for everybody to think about for 2026.
Maybe even just like a panel presentation people could attend. Yeah. Something like that.
Yep.
Great. Love it. Any public testimony on the conference? Okay, then I'll go back to Kristen and crossing my fingers, there might be some good news. What do you have for us? You might be away.
She dropped out. Oh, so there she's still.
Kristen, are you still with us? Okay, I'm gonna circle back to Kristen.
I can actually give you a date. She gave.
Go ahead.
Looks like we're moving forward with hiring somebody. It's an 89-day hire at first, and so keep your fingers crossed that everything goes through and everything stays status quo, that we will have, this new person. Just remember, they're not a silver bullet, and we cannot use them to do our work, and they cannot actually, and reminders that we cannot use, staff to advocate for our issues. That that has to fall solely to this board. Commissioners.
Just be happy if they can help me with formatting and spell check.
There.
All those things.
So yeah, so we're really close to having somebody there.
That's exciting. All right. Any public testimony on that? All right, then we will move on. Updates on commission legislative priorities for 2025. And those are listed in your board packet with the leads as well. So let's see, first up is Michael.
I don't really have anything else more to just say that all the bills have been written. They're all set for introduction. As we sit here right now, a pre-introduction has already begun. So if you want to go look at the capital.hawaii.gov website, there's already a new bill up there that none of us asked for that I know of, but it deals with IVF in our community. So that's going to be on our, anything LGBTQIA plus related will automatically be added to the matrix that goes out for as we set our ledge policy. So that will be added there. It will be noted that it's not a priority for this commission right now. We can always change those priorities. But just remember, if you vote to put something on the list as we move forward, you're going to have to take the lead. Because I'm at my capacity right now with everything else I am doing to add anything else to this at this point. So, so all my bills have been drafted and are ready for introduction for everything. The only thing I have left on my list is to draft the resolution to deal with looking at the Hawaii Rights statutes to get out to go to gender neutral language, get rid of any heteronormative terms and phrases. So I'll be working on that soon.
And Michael, have you found champions for all of your bills?
Well,
maybe you just might want to speak just a moment to what that looks like when you're looking for support.
What it looks like is that I relied on my past experiences with the legislators and reached out to them and sent them all everything. And so, luckily a lot of this stuff I was able to pick up older bills and just use those as, they just changed the years and submitted it. And then, we're looking, waiting to see what the task force does with the, surrogacy laws, since they're the ones taking the lead on that. So that's what that looks like. It's, reaching out to legislators, helping them. If you don't know how to draft a bill, asking them to help you draft it and making sure it gets introduced. If you haven't already reached out to an elected official at this point to get something introduced for something you're a lead on, it is too late, I would say, unless you have a really good relationship with somebody and they can throw something together in the next 48 to 72 hours, because well, the deadline isn't until next week, Thursday, for final introduction. They're still gonna need to run it by LRB and get things approved, and then also try to hopefully find other people. They will pass it around to other legislators to see if they will sign on to it as well. So, when it comes to finding champions, I have a couple of champions in the back pocket for all this stuff, but we are the ones that are gonna have to lead this fight. Thank you for reminding me, is that also, we need to be very cognizant. I've heard this from a couple of legislators, unfortunately, that 1.3% that we won at Con Am by has spooked a couple of legislators into thinking that there's not a lot of public support. So how do we fight back at that? Is that we make sure that we get our community and our advocates and our other allies out there to testify as much as possible when every queer bill gets heard, so that they know they're not having it windmills, that we're not going it alone. So And I will speak more on this when it comes to setting expectations, or what our expectations are as we move forward as a commission.
Thank you, Michael. Shanda, would you like to give us an update on yours?
Still working with Commissioner Tam on the intersex bill, and frankly, I made no progress and on the insurance regulation. So I'm doubting that is going to be anything is going to be done in time for this legislative session. However, I have not surrendered.
Thank you, Shanda. Sandy, any updates?
Okay, so it took me a while to find any legislators who were interested in working on this. So this isn't going to be introduced for this session. So we're going to be working on this for the next one.
Thank you. And then let's see, Rick, do you have some updates on yours?
Yes, the good news is that the Equality Caucus has identified this as a high priority. According to Representative Tam's office, they are finding one of the caucus members to introduce the legislation. They're making a few tweaks to the old bill that was in 23 and 24. So they are very supportive. It was apparently voted the #1 priority. Sandy, they are looking to find, and I don't know, Michael might know this, they are looking to find they're looking to find out what state legislation someplace else deals with reporting of hate crimes. Is there something we can copy? So it acted like if we knew, Michael, I think Michael might be aware of one. So the woman's name was Flora, and apparently she's Representative Tam's office manager. Michael, are you aware of any reporting process or legislation that they could look at and look at possibly copying it for us?
Whose office was asking? Because yeah, I can put them in touch with some stuff that I have that they can look at. Because California has some really, what they did is really good because they actually do not wait for prosecution to actually count things. They actually count it. There's actually San Francisco has the best legislation that I've seen when it comes to this because they actually have it on their police reports. Possible hate crime. There's actually a checkbox, and that gets forwarded to a hate crimes division within the SFPD. So, whose office that you were talking to?
Representative Tam, Adrian Tam.
Adrian Tam. Okay, yeah. I'll talk to Adrian.
Well, it's the woman who's collecting it is looking for it is named Flora. She's the office manager.
Yep.
You want? I can send you her phone number.
I got it all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
They did say that they believe that this was going to get out in time. It was their caucus's #1 priority. But they said that they didn't think that Representative Tam would be introducing it. It would probably be a different caucus member.
That's great information. Thank you.
Well, there's one more thing, is
Sure.
that there is a group, and I'm just making sure that we're aware of what's full disclosure. There's a group that's helping, and the more I looked into this, the more I wanted to help because it is a big need. And so I'm actually going to be volunteering with groups that try to set up resources and find things for unhoused youth. There's a big group working in town. So, and they said that the two things that we could do is, help on a grassroots level, but they said that to help with the legislation is to try to get out information. I don't know if this might be a Philip thing. If there's any way we could write any kind of letter making sure that we support the youth shelters for homeless youth, unhoused youth. They said that last year there was some last time, maybe 2 years ago, there was some negative publicity that might have affected. I don't remember that, seeing it, but they said to make sure that people see this as a good thing, as a necessary thing. It's not necessarily only for LGBTQ plus youth, but just make sure that right now there's no place for these kids under 18. There's not many places for them to go if they're not involved in the Justice, Child Welfare, or Child and Adolescent Mental Health Division. So this is something we also could look to our board, our commission members, our ex-officio members who are the subject matter experts. So Department of Health, the university, Department of Education, and Department of Human Services all touch on this. Yeah, it's real sad when I found out there's no place for these kids to go. They end up on the street and get taken advantage of awful.
Okay, and Rick, if there's any kind of information or if you want to work on drafting a letter or anything you'd like to include in the next agenda, then we can get it on there and certainly have a discussion about it. Figure out who we need to write about what. Okay, and then as far as mine, passing a resolution to establish an education requirement, I spoke with Joe Wilson and Dean, and they've been doing so much work as community members, really spearheading this discussion based on their project, their Le Pua'ala project. And so I'm going to actually just give it a little brief minute, and then I'm going to open to public testimony since I see Joe on here, Joe Wilson, to see if you want to say anything. But basically, it has been decided that this resolution is going to wait for next year. And in the meantime, they are working with other members of UH and the community to actually draft a curriculum that can go along with the resolution. So it has a better chance of passing. And Joe, did I sum it up correctly? And would you like to give some public testimony?
Thanks so much, Kathleen. Yes, I think that's extremely accurate. And what I think kind of building upon what Michael was saying about some of the other initiatives and other commissioners as well, we think this is really important to build the right foundation for this, meaning we want to get input from educators, young people in particular, students within the system, et cetera, and to create the kind of tools that educators need to employ in the classroom. So we're going to be doing that over the next many months and year, and then look to working with the commission to be more strategic about how we put this forward, if in fact it requires legislative action.
Joe, thank you for all the work you all are doing as well.
Likewise.
Do I have any other public testimony on any of these? Okay, then we're going to move on to item 6, discussion on creating change conference in Vegas, which is January 22nd through 26th. That's coming up right around the corner. And we have Rick and Michael both attending. And you'll see in the conference packet that there is a list of all the different sessions in there. And we had asked last meeting that the commissioners review that list and chime in about any of the sessions that we thought were going to be particularly important for the commission, for Rick and Michael to take that information about. But maybe we can start with those, with Rick and Michael talking about their intentions and things that they're interested in and looking into attending while they're there. Michael, you want to start?
I was going to let Rick go first.
Oh, Rick, go first.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, the things, again, there's quite a few things, and I needed to point out that even as we speak, the program book is being redone. So, but there was a lot of things that I was interested in, I wanted to see about going. Of course, there are the, how do you say that word, plenary?
Plenary.
They were the ones that everyone attended. And there are day-long institutes, one of them seems to be looking at specific groups. And you can attend, I'm interested in attending the Pacifica one, which is people of the Polynesian Islands. There was a great session put on at the conference on Friday, and I thought that would be good. Even though personally, I'm also interested in going to the Latinx group. These are day-long institutes. They also had some that I looked at that I thought would be good. One is two of the sessions were on aging and the LGBTQ community. And that's of personal interest to me. And so I would like to go to that if everyone's cool with that. And I'm open regarding some of the other groups that are there, but those were the ones that I have a particular interest in. And I also wanted to go, they have a, and then they have something that's sort of a advocacy 101 for new people, you know, basically, and that's something I would like to attend as well. Then other than that, I'm open to whatever the commission would like me to go to.
Rick, can I just ask real quick, you said some of them are the all-day plenaries sometimes, or the all-day institutes, sometimes those are like an extra cost and you have to pre-register. Is that the case for this conference?
Well, I'm not going to anything that's extra. No, I'm only doing, they have two all-day events that I was looking at. The one about Pacific does, or the Latinx. I have to learn the new term. When I was growing up, we said Latino and Latina, and they don't use that anymore. Kind of
Yeah,
cool.
right, Latinx.
And the Pacifica one is those are both all day. But I have to pick one or the other.
But they're no additional cost, but they're just all day. You have to pre-register.
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm basing that on my own conference experience, so just wanted to check. Maybe we'll hear from Michael about what you're planning, and then maybe we can talk about anything else that is not on either one of your lists that we're interested in.
Actually, I looked at a bunch of different things. I haven't really set my mind to anything. I wanted to hear one from the other commissioners, what they would like us to bring back. One of the things I did want to, there's a couple things on grant meeting, and so I did, when I registered, I did mark it as looking for grants. Just to start building up that idea of bringing back money to figure out how, where I know we're very low on the totem pole here because we're such a blue state and we have such good ratings when it comes to like GLSEN and HRC. So we got, especially with what's coming down the pike in 7 days. So, but just to see what's available to this, because we are going to need, it depends on what we actually want to do as we look forward. We are going to need some type of extra funding because it's just not going to be covered by the $20,000 that we get. But hopefully we get moving forward. So if there's anything that you all would like me to go see, please email me. You all have my email address. Just tell me the names of it and I will add it to my list. Because, yeah.
Sandy, did you want to say something there? I see you coming off mute. No? Okay. Commissioners, do you have any input right now about any of these that in particular you would like to see them attend? Shanda?
I had a couple that I thought might be useful for us if they conflict. I'm not married to any of them, but there's a Friday 10:45 a.m. workshop, Sexual and Gender Diversity, Colonization and Queerness, just because we're Hawaiian. Also similarly, rural LGBTQI, this is Friday 7 p.m. Voices Building Community and Capacity for Justice. And Saturday 9 a.m. Building Relationships, Building Power, Broadening Your Reach Beyond LGBTQ Organizations. And then the last couple I think are focused on Kapuna. Saturday at 10:45, discussion with AARP and Alan Morris about how our community experience healthcare and getting older. And then finally, also Saturday, 3:15, Queering Death and Preparedness. Given my little passion for trying to ensure equity for our folks at end of life care.
Thank you. I'm probably going to text you to try to get that list, please. That's great. But the three of those are ones I wanted to.
Rocco.
I'm pretty sure that I mean, all of the things that Rick and Michael and Shanda, I feel like all of those are really useful. There's one more I would throw in there that I thought sounded really inspiring, but it was the one on Saturday, a workshop at 1:30 called Building Local Power, How to Fight for an LGBTQ plus Sanctuary City. Just something else to throw in there.
I love that, and it conflicts with the one that I was interested in, so maybe they can divide and conquer, but also at Saturday at 1:30 these are a few of my favorite things: helping racially and religiously diverse families to support LGBTQ plus youth. Just given the strong religious influence in our state, I think this is an important one for us.
Oh, these are a few of my favorite things. Is one workshop, the other one is helping radically
Yes.
racially
no.
and diverse and religiously diverse. Those are two different.
It says, these are a few of my favorite things.
Stop.
Or is it two
That's
different
one,
ones?
and then it's another. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, I see, just the way it's printed out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just like these are a few of my favorite things.
There.
No, but specifically helping racially and religious diverse families, yes. Okay,
Well,
let's see.
and Michael and I can divide them between us and try to attend, even if there's conflicts, we can be going to different ones. Try to hit as many as we can.
I'll put the Sanctuary City on my one if you want to take the other one, Rick.
Yeah, thank you. I'm taking the racial diversity.
Please. Yeah. Because I think that's gonna help a lot as we go forth and we talk about, curriculums and education and everything else that we are talking about in an honest way. Some of the barriers that religion presents to that work in our state. Okay, anyone else want to give any suggestions off that list of what, and if not, of course, there's a few days still to email and let them know before they go to the conference. Public testimony. Perhaps you all would like something to be looked into while they're there. Okay, and then we wish Rick and Michael safe travels. And we look forward to being debriefed when they get back. I am hoping that any sessions that you attend, you can write for the board packet a summary of what you learned so that we can all review that and learn from that. It would be hard to debrief the entire conference in a meeting, so having it written down in the board packet would be super helpful, and then we can just kind of ask questions about things we want clarification or more information on. That would be awesome. Is that okay, Rick and Michael? Okay. Let's see. Update on resources for the commission website. So we were going to do a form, right, to collect things for the website. And I think, Philip, you were going to take a stab at perhaps drafting a Google form. Is that correct?
I not only stabbed it, I killed it. There is a Google form. There is a Google form. And I put a lot of, I put like, I just sort of searched, right? And I put what I could put. There's something on there by Rocco, which I think he just sort of sent to somebody or sent it maybe to all of us. And I just added it. And I think Shanda, maybe Shanda put something. There's not a lot. So yeah, just especially, there's more stuff, of course, from Oahu than there are from neighbor islands. That's easier to find, or at least I found it easier to find. But anyway, I can, if you don't have the link, I can send it out if you know of something. My thought was anything that felt, like either a resource as far as, mental health resources or things like that, but also just social resources. I mean, and not like a bar, but like, but like there's a runners organization, there's a queer runners organization on Oahu, something like that, that if somebody's looking to be connected or kind of find their people or find their tribe or whatever. And yeah, so whatever you have, and then I'm not sure, it's obviously an ongoing thing. I would think, I would consider it something that would keep going. So I don't know at this point who it gets turned over to, so that we can start with the 6 or 7 things that we have already, right, on our website. And then who does that? What happens with that form?
Okay, so. I'm gonna mount this up.
Is that form front facing, or is that only for commissioners? Were you gonna allow other people to nominate themselves or nominate stuff for it?
I don't, it's up to the commission. I only shared it here as far as like what resources do we all know of that we would want on our website, but that's up for us to decide who else can contribute.
I think we can take recommendations from anybody, and just that we have to make sure that it's not, because we all don't know how to have, we shouldn't be the gatekeepers, and it should be open to everybody, as long as everybody understands that we cannot use it for businesses. Because we come into the whole thing about ethics and using state resources for that. So we gotta just be cognizant of that. Where medical is fine, because Thaddeus has that one that they do through the SGM, where we maybe instead of us recreating the wheel when it comes from medical, we just push them all to the SGM one. But yeah, there's stuff that we're gonna, that the SGM doesn't have, that we're gonna get. And that so if everybody's okay with it, we can start pushing that link out publicly to get other people to put in queer resources, with the idea that, yeah.
So currently, so the responses are going, you have to go into Excel spreadsheet, or anyway, you're seeing the responses on the Google form?
They're showing up in a, that's yeah, they show up in an Excel spreadsheet. And I like Michael's idea about having other people to contribute, because people are going to know things that we don't know. I'm just like, who is the who is actually doing the work, the technical work of getting it there, but also if that is the commission approving, as Michael said, we can't put business, we're not going to put a restaurant up there or something like that, but we would put a nonprofit or a social, like I put the YWCA on Kauai because they have quite a few queer programs. So who's what's the word, who's curating the list? I mean,
yeah, who's vetting them first? I was
vetting.
If Philip, you wouldn't mind vetting them when they come in.
I mean, I could
on them and making sure they're not businesses.
I certainly could do that, but I don't know, is that something that I'm happy to do that, but is that, rests on, I don't mean rest on my shoulders, like I don't want the responsibility, but I wouldn't want somebody on the commission to, feel like, oh, Philip's making all these decisions about our website. I can.
I think perhaps if you have any questions that you can, email that one to me to take a look at as well. And if we can't agree on it, I think we can bring it to a vote at the commission, like on the next agenda. I think that would probably be, if everyone is comfortable with that.
Sure. I mean,
but yeah, let's see if we can work it that way. And as far as the tech part of it, there is someone who updates the website.
Well, for this, I think we're gonna do this as a Google Doc. Like we do, so we're able to, because instead of, we're not just updating a page on the website, because that, as things go on, that could become a full-time job for the person, and we only get them every so often. When we have regular updates. So what I'm envisioning is something that stands outside the website, that we update, like with the board packets, like I can go in there, or so anybody else that has access could go in there and update and put in a new document. So it's like a PDF. So whatever the final thing is a PDF that people can download or whatever, download onto their phones and then have access. Who's actually doing that PDF and creating that? I don't know. I think that's something that we all need to put our thinking caps on, and we come back to our next meeting with somebody, if a commissioner willing to be able to, has the skill sets to do that, to put that all together. Once they've been vetted.
Does it have to be a PDF? Could it be a Google Doc? with just viewing access so that you don't have to keep recreating the PDF, you can just add to it real time?
Sure, but the only problem with that is people will ask for access to that if you do a Google Doc. Then you will, and whoever owns that, which we're at one point, we're gonna make sure that ownership of that document goes to the Gmail account, the Gmail Google folder. I find when you do PDFs, you get a lot less of people trying to access it to edit it. You do a Google Doc.
Yeah,
And it's, once it's a Google Doc, you can download it, PDF like that.
but you'd have to download it every time you
Update
added something.
Yeah.
Philip?
I'm happy to do that. I mean, I have the doc. I'm happy to take, that's not a big deal for me. And to make a PDF, to take the data, which is just, title, what they do, whatever content, we might have a phone number, we might have an email address, we might only have a website or any combination of that, and put it on there and make a list and save it as a PDF and then give it to somebody that's gonna put it on our website and says, commission endorsed or commission whatever resources or however we want to label it. It's no big deal I mean, we're not getting suggestions like by the dozens every day. So, I think they're going to trickle in slowly but surely, and I'm happy to check it. As I'm preparing to come to a meeting once a month, I'll go, okay, do we have anybody new? Do I need to update that PDF? Because I think Michael's right. It's not like the PDF is going to get updated, every other day. It's going to be once a month, maybe. That's not a big, I'm happy to do that.
The other thing is, if it's a PDF, then every time we make a new PDF, there's a new link.
No,
No?
you just upload the new version
To where?
to the Google form. Like when I make an update to the board packet, you don't get a new link. The new link always stays the same. I just add a new version to it.
Okay. Anyone else have any? Joe?
I have a question. Maybe he already has it on the list. Philip, is that something that Maui AIDS Foundation would be on, or Aloha Maui Pride, as far as social groups?
Nobody has submitted anything for Maui. There's mostly Oahu. I've added 2 or 3 for Kauai. Rocco added something for I think a nurse practitioner maybe that's on Big Island, and Shanda put something and I don't remember what it was. But no, that's what the form is for. Like, please, submit stuff, because I don't know. I wouldn't know what's going on in Maui.
Okay, I'll send you those 2 so far that I know of then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure you're filling out the form, Joe, not just sending him an email. So it's easier for Philip. Everything needs to be done through the form.
Okay.
That links out, and we'll make a front-facing thing to put out to everybody for the community to fill out as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Rocco?
I'm assuming that it would be fine, but as each island pride starts to come around, is that something that we could go ahead and make sure is updated on our website with the right dates and everything? I think that would be really great, especially since we've all agreed to participate in some degree as a commission on each of these. I feel like that would be helpful if we can help resource that.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Do I have any comments from the public testimony on updating resources for the commission website? Oh, I see. Yes, please. I'm sorry, I can't see your name with the.
This is Yasmin Cheney. I'm the Executive Director for the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women. I just wanted to comment, I don't know if you guys are already aware that Department of Health has a Safe Spaces Committee, and they already have a resource brochure for various resources for Oahu and Maui. And I didn't know if you guys had crosswalked those into your list or not.
Nice to meet you. And yes, that was the one that we were talking about. We should link to,
Yeah.
Right? I know that I love their resources and use them often when I'm teaching. They have some fantastic resources. So absolutely, we need to. I don't even think we could reinvent that wheel. It's so good. Thank you.
Kat, I'm still not clear. So who is doing it? Like, okay, I'll do my part, but who is putting it on the website? Who do I turn this into?
Once you have the document, I'm gonna create a folder in the Google Docs and I'll grant you access to that with our Google folder, so you can just upload it there once you have the document, so.
Thank you.
And since I'm the person that deals with Andrew, I'll just continue to do that.
Thank you.
It makes the most sense if there's just one person emailing.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else, public testimony? Okay, then we'll move on to update on letter to the governor requesting an executive order to turn Hawaii into a sanctuary state for gender affirming care. Basically, this is in the board packet for you to look at. And I'll just read the end sentence of it. We appreciate you taking the time to share your views with us, and we will consider your comments along with all other public input as we strive to improve state government in Hawaii. Yes. Michael's like trying not to, go ahead, Michael.
I encourage, Kat, if you are so inclined to follow up with the governor's office, and she sent a letter to find out, because that's basically a form letter he got back. So, more personalized response to his commissioners would be wonderful. And as far as because there was the group letter also that went out besides our own personal letter from the commission to the governor. And they basically got the same response, and Abby, who led that effort, is following up from the Stonewall Caucus, is following up on that as well. So I think anybody and everybody that wants to follow up on that as we move forward in your own personal capacity, because Kat will take care of the commission if you have any inroads with the governor.
If any of you have inroads with the governor. I do not, but I will still, on behalf of the commission, do my darndest. Rick.
Yes, just apparently people are reading our agendas and packets now, because I did get some feedback, and just a caution. And someone told me, they said, if we're a sanctuary city, the Trump administration says that they can withhold money from us. Does anybody know if that's true? Has anybody heard that?
We don't know anything that's true with the next incoming administration until they're actually here. And this is what goes back to the whole thing. We are not going to advocate from a place of fear. We're going to advocate from a place of strength, and we're doing what's right. So if they figure out how to do that, that's on the, I'd be surprised, but so, yeah, but we can still advocate for these things. We're not gonna let the fear of what may happen stop us from actually doing our jobs. But I'm glad to hear people are actually reading our agendas and board packets.
You spend a lot of time with this.
And I have a question or would like to provide information. I responded to Abby this morning and let her know that I would be delighted to participate in an in-person meeting with the governor if it's possible for me. And I had previously submitted follow-up testimony to him with a bunch of information as a private citizen and healthcare provider and ally and all that. However, if I am able to attend that meeting and you are not, I am more than happy to convey our information. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. It is my goal to be able to show up if I can, again, as a private citizen. And if you are not there, I am happy to convey whatever you guys want me to convey on behalf of the commission.
Great.
Although I'm assuming Michael's going to be there also, so he would be better.
Saying he is not.
No, I'm trying to stay out of that meeting.
Shanda, thank you. That would be outstanding. Do we have any public testimony on this? Okay, then we are going to move on to the topic of expectations from each commissioner. So we just kind of wanted to all of a sudden we were dealing with everything with the ledge and trying to figure all of that out, it seemed like, but there are, as Michael started to talk about, many other things that we can also do as commissioners, and everyone brings their own strengths to the commission. So we really haven't spent much time talking about the strengths that we bring and what we might do and what we're hoping to see from the members generally of this commission. All the things that we can actually take action on outside of, even in addition to working with the ledge. So that's where the conversation begins. So who would like to open the discussion? Rick.
Yes, in looking at this legislation that or the legislative priority for a youth shelter, I was really touched by all of the, by the lack of services there are for teenagers. These are high school students that have been kicked out, throwaway kids, runaway kids. The Child and Adolescent Mental Health Division helps some. There's a special program for kids who have been sexually trafficked. There's one for kids that are, involved in the court system, and with child welfare services, the child protective services. But it's just a big gap. I kept finding people that kept saying, we recognize that we don't have places or things for these people, so 14, 15 and younger even, 16-year-olds. So I would like to participate. I've been invited as a social worker to sit on the Child Youth Services Network Committee. This is a group that looks at things like this and helps. And I would be doing it as a private citizen, but I think that they're interested. I got into contact with them because I was researching this bill. So that's something I think I'm going to be working on. I'm also doing some work with the woman that has run most of the Hispanic heritage events on Hawaii is backing off on her commitment because of for a number of personal reasons. And I'd like to continue to work. And these are as personal private citizens, as a private citizen, but I am going to be, they are aware of my participation on this commission.
Okay, that's great. So those are two areas, youth shelters and Latinx, but two of the actions that you were talking about would be great for any of us, really. One is researching about the topics, right? And listening to the community. The other one that you mentioned that I think is fantastic is being on committees, and I might add to that, attending, for example, neighborhood boards, right? That's something that we could all participate in. That's a great expectation. I love that. Who else? Joe.
Well, I just wanted to jump on what Rick had just brought up, because when we had the fires in Lahaina come up, that's when I was worried about all the kids who were there who are trans or LGBT kids, and what happened to them. Where are they now? And that's where my thought about, okay, so we need a place for them to come to if they are out there, to be in a safe place, and that they're going to be taken care of, as far as housing and medical and everything else that's come under that. So Rick, thank you for bringing that up, because that's what I was going to do.
Well, there's no reason you can't do that for Maui, because he's on Oahu, and that's what, I think let's, if I may, Madam Chair, to refocus the question a little. What do you expect to get out of being a commissioner? It's more of the question. And what do you, so we all went through all the process of being confirmed and getting appointed, but what do you expect to get out of this experience of being a commissioner?
I'd like to see a place for them to come to, and how do I go about finding that place, that venue for them, that building, and who do I hit up for money and funding for that? Yeah.
So understanding what the problems are in our community
Yeah,
And then, so networking to find out
yes.
to whom we might turn to take action, the champions. Yeah. For sure.
Well, if I may, the thing that I guess people can speak to me and I can bring it to the commission's attention, or the commission can tell me ideas and I can clear it with people in different groups that I, interact with. So for myself, I want to see just the avenue of being able to communicate up and down or side to side, however it is.
Being a voice for the community. Rocco? Did you have your hand up? Sorry.
I didn't, but I can comment.
Please.
Well, I think that for me, the participation in this commission is just furthering the work that I do through the nonprofit that we started for Kona Pride here locally. And the amount of work that I can do through my business without it crossing any boundaries, but the fundraising that we do through our drag bingos and things like that, I feel like I've got this commitment to my community to help resource as much as I can, but I was hoping that this commission would give me a bigger platform that could help on a more grand scale statewide, especially just confirming that whatever happens in the state is going to benefit this tiny island and outlying islands, not just Oahu. So when it comes to like what I can do, I'm not sure what I can do past what I'm doing. So I'm here for suggestions. I'm here to participate in any way I can, but I kind of feel like I'm kind of in a learning experience with this as well. I don't know exactly what to expect from being on this commission.
But, I think it's very important that you are bringing to us what's going on the outer islands and that we're understanding that as well, right? So I feel like you are, our outer island commissioners are our direct line to knowing, because it's very different, the outer islands, than it is Oahu. So I think that's super important. Shanda?
Thanks. So for both, first of all, what am I hoping to get? I was hoping to get increased connection, increased access to other organizations and legislators, and to understand the legislative process more, to figure out how I can make change. And that's totally happening, which is awesome. And as a commissioner, I feel I have increased access in all areas and just a little bit more juice on things. So that is working out appropriately. I wish, well, we'll see what happens next year. I feel like I'm scrambling to catch up. And as far as what I can offer, I had been hoping that I would be able to be a resource to both this commission and the entire legislature and anybody else who wants to hear anything on, of course, healthcare, right? LGBT healthcare. And that is something that I can provide experience and expertise in and help guide folks with. And if anybody's wondering, well, what does the data say on this, and what does the research show, I'm happy to provide that to anybody who wants to listen. And I, of course, as the SGM work group representative, I am able to be a conduit from the sexual and gender minority work group. And now I'm the lead for the SGM, for the Kapuna committee for the SGM work group. So I'm able to parlay that into more information and resources for the commission proper and the sexual and gender minority work group, and basically dual coverage, if you will, for something that's a priority for both organizations, which is care for our LGBT Kapuna.
Thank you, Shanda. And I like the idea of providing resources. We talked about learning about resources, sharing resources, but also we all can also bring our areas of expertise to the table, right? Yours is in healthcare. Great. Who else might want to add to the conversation? Philip.
If the question is what are my expectations, or what was I expecting to get from being on the commission? I'm a veteran teacher, and so most of my work has been done in schools. I've actually founded a GLSEN chapter a bazillion years ago when I lived in a different state, and I've founded and sponsored 3 different GSA groups at different schools. And so I feel like I'm an advocate, but I think I'm an advocate on a small scale, not to diminish the importance of it. But I haven't done big, broad things like some of you have, but I have been an advocate, my whole career. I was openly out with my students, and I'm talking, elementary all the way through high school, not just the big kids, but the little kids, and advocated for individual students when things came up about bathrooms at my last school. I was the person, I was on the ground making a case for what I felt was right and what we should be doing. So my interest in the commission is like learning more about how to take what I already have and sort of broaden that. I'm not as knowledgeable or skilled, like I'm going to use it as Michael is. I mean, he has a history of this kind of thing. I admittedly am not. That's not who I am at this point. But so I feel my expectation is I want to learn as much as I can. I want to be able to take what I already know how to do and expand that. And of course, bring it here to my little island with 73,000 people. And I also want to contribute in the ways that I know how to contribute, which is why I'm happy to be a secretary and make a form and do, whatever I can do to support, like sort of, I feel like a student, like while I'm learning how to do things on a bigger scale, I want to make sure that I'm contributing in really tangible ways, to sort of like earn my keep, while I figure out how to do things on a bigger scale. But, and I want to learn from everybody because, again, like you said, everybody has their different experiences and different set of skills, and so, I want to take advantage of that.
Thank you, Philip, and definitely you being a writer, which you are, and being able to contribute that and helping us in those areas is huge, and I greatly appreciate that personally, for sure. Anyone else? Sandy, did you want to have a chance?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if we were going in order or not, so I was waiting to be called on. Well, for me, I've been a philanthropist for years, and being a part of this commission is a really exciting way for me to take the things that I have been working on and just kind of start connecting things. So really what I would like to glean from this is the opportunity to develop those relationships, but also to help connect people who I have encountered and make sure that other people can connect with them. So making sure that resources are available, making sure that information is readily transparent so that people understand what's happening. Those are very important issues for me.
Excellent. Absolutely. I'm hearing so many great things. Advocating, providing resources, connecting philanthropy, increasing access to organizations, understanding the legislative process and getting better at that, researching and listening to our community, participating in committees and on boards. Absolutely. Michael, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, everything I'm wanting to get out of this commission is already written into statute. That's what happens when you help write the bill to create something. So those are the things that I'm hoping to get from this, or hoping everybody can get from this. And that part of that is, I'm gonna just point it back to all you commissioners, is that when it comes for board packets, that we get more things from you all on educating people on what's happening in the different counties. So we can, so we're amplifying the messages, one of the things that came in today, amplifying the successes we're seeing, like Sarah, she's known as Millie to everybody, all of her students out in Eva Beach. She won the presidential award today for education. It's the Presidential Award of Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. She, as well as several other teachers from Hawaii, but I bring up Millie because she's the one keeping our GSAs going, they're now gender, sexuality, what are the other names? Association or a club, which used to be the Gay Straight Alliance, there we go. So it used to be the Gay Straight Alliance in the 90s and early on. So making sure that we're able to amplify these messages and also give other people access to state government, as well as to ensure that Stonewall Caucus doesn't have to walk alone at the Capitol, or pride at work, that we are, again, everybody using all their different voices to and empowering our community to advocate for themselves and each other, not just at the state, not just the big square building, but as Tyler mentioned, advocacy happens at all up and down the scale every day. There's different opportunities for us to advocate. And I will remind you all have titles, you can use them. You just can't speak on behalf of the commission. As a commissioner, I feel this. Well, you can't say the commission feels this unless it's something that we've already on record. But as a commissioner, when you go to those meetings, you may not be representing the commission, but you are a commissioner, and we can announce that there. And if we want you to be the official person representing the commission on that, we just have to vote on it and bring it to this body. So we need to start pumping up on what's coming in so we can let everybody know that we're here, and that how we can help them, and that we're not recreating the wheel and we're not usurping other people's things. But also, yeah, so that's my piece on that.
Hi, this is Erin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I just to add on to what you're saying, which is all good stuff. When you do go to those meetings and you're there, not in your official capacity, you can just say, you know, I'm commissioner of this. My name is this. I'm a commissioner on the LGBTQ plus committee, but I'm not here in my official capacity.
Thank you. That's a tagline I can memorize. And I think the board packet is an amazing way. Michael's doing so much work on the board packets with these links and everything. Like sometimes we get emails about some of these things. And this is a great way to get it out to the larger community, because this is public record, right? And as we're hearing, people are reading it, right? So the more we can add for people's awareness to our board packet, the better. And then, as Michael said, if it's something we're going to discuss or take action on, then it would go on the agenda. And if you do want it to be on the agenda, it helps if you have an idea about the action you'd like to propose we take. And if it involves a letter, a draft of the letter is also greatly appreciated. So, and just on my part, my background is all education. And so there are a lot of things that I would like to work with around education, including LGBTQ awareness training for Department of Education teachers and staff. Also very much interested in sex education in our public schools and making sure that that is LGBTQ plus inclusive consistently. I think that what I am doing is LGBTQ awareness trainings, and also incorporating it into the class that I teach at UH to 300 students every semester, and standing proud in front of all of them and talking about my journey as a member of the community. And I think that is very important in modeling to students that it's okay to be out, that it's okay that we can hold all the positions that we hold and be out and be proud and represent. So those are the things that I am doing and what I hope to get out of the commission. Like Shanda was saying, I very much hope to learn more about the legislative process and get to know more about who are our champions within the ledge. That's important to me because I did not come in with a lot of knowledge around that. And certainly I hope to get to know more things outside of education and academia, because I kind of sit in that world most of the time, but I want to learn more things like about healthcare and other issues that our community faces. So yeah, broaden my knowledge and also hopefully be able to share a lot of the things that I'm learning with the greater community. That's what I'm. Anyone else on the commission? Would the public like to, oh, Rocco, you unmuted.
What's that?
Did you unmute?
Oh, I must have, sorry.
Okay. Any public testimony on this, on expectations for the commission? Danielle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Bergen. I'm a retired mental health educator. I used to work for Mental Health America of Hawaii. And I'm probably not going to be able to be here by the time you get to number 3, but I think I can put my testimony in here on what the expectations I have of you guys as commissioners is that you do vote to send that letter to Maui Preparatory Academy on condemning their transgender exclusionary policy. At my time at Mental Health America, I did several suicide prevention trainings, educational trainings for youth in the schools. I've trained over 4,000 youth, including at Maui Preparatory Academy, and taught a course called Youth Suicide and Bullying Prevention, which included a part on at-risk youth, and we cited the LGBTQ plus community. As of 2022, 53% of transgender youth have made an attempt on their life. So this policy could possibly lead to anxiety, depression, exclusion. I would hate to see that. I have been graciously asked to work with the parents of the child to try and help advocate for this, and doing several other things on Maui to do this. So I highly urge you as a commission to send that letter to Maui Preparatory Academy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for being here and for testifying. We are going to get to that as a topic that is under our new business. So if there are other testimonies regarding that, regarding Maui Preparatory Academy, if you all just hold off on that until we get to the next one, but totally understand, Danielle, matter of time, and we were certainly happy to take your testimony. Anyone else on expectations from the commissioners? Okay, then we will move on. I feel like we already discussed the list of reasons. It's like a redundant. Okay, so skipping over number 10, new business. Here we go. Discussion and vote to draft and send a letter, and to whom regarding the anti-LGBTQIA plus policies for students at Maui Preparatory Academy. And we have gotten multiple letters of testimony that have been included in the board packet and seem to continue to come in for you to review. But Joe, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something to start off this discussion?
Well, I was just going to introduce Danielle. Danielle, I might be wrong, but I wanted to point out that she was the one who started here on Maui the remembering of all the
TDOR, Transgender Remembrance.
Yes, there you
Transgender Day
go.
of Remembrance, yes.
Thank you for that. Yes, I just wanted to thank you for that.
Michael.
I would like to make a motion that we send a letter to Maui Prep, letting them know that this commission condemns the anti-trans, non-binary, anti-mahu, and intersex policy that they put forward, with that letter being CC to the superintendent of schools, as well as the Maui mayor, and any other elected officials that we deem necessary as we move this forward.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion. And can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, let's go ahead. Beth?
This is Beth. I just want to make a comment that Maui Prep is a private school. It's not under the Hawaii Public Schools or even a charter school. So although I appreciate your copying the superintendent in the letter, he really has no jurisdiction over this particular school.
Beth, can you confirm that Maui Preparatory Academy receives funding from the Hawaii Public School System?
I cannot confirm or deny that. I do believe that it's a private school. So it's part of the independent schools. It's not a part of the Hawaii public school system.
Correct. And one of the links in the board packet does take us to a document from Maui Preparatory Academy that does in fact include Hawaii Public Schools as one of the funders.
Okay,
I may, Beth, yeah, I was gonna bring that up as well, is that, Beth, if you could please find out what kind of funding they've gotten from the Department of Education, because they have it in their wingspan, it's in links into the board packet, and find out how much money that the DOE has given this school, and if there were any strings attached to that funding. Because it's my understanding, if you get a GIA, that you are, if you take the GIA, you are then cannot discriminate, you have to follow the state's non-discrimination policy. And they also list the county of Maui, and that's why I included the mayor. And that's why I included the superintendent, is that because of that, because Wingspan and the Maui Prep has already gone public with the fact on multiple iterations of Wingspan that they have received taxpayer funding for their school. So,
would it, I'm just asking, and I'm not, I really don't know the answer, but I'm thinking, should it be addressed with the Independent School Commission?
In addition to?
I have a comment, if I may.
Actually, Shanda had her hand up before.
Okay, sure.
I just also wanted to mention, and I don't know who we would address this to, but they are a 501c3. So them being tax exempt as a nonprofit, I don't know if that's another area that we could bring up and question if they're going to be political or hateful.
Unfortunately, with the incoming administration, they won't give a shit. So instead of spinning our wheels there's other avenues about dealing with that. And there are a lot of hate-based 501c3s out there. I'm not gonna mention the Catholic Church. Anyways, sorry.
Philip.
So my last 14 years of teaching here on Kauai was at a private school, an independent school. And we scrutinized and watched closely whatever the DOE did in regards to policies. I mean, you know, we always, we wanted to know what was going on because parents didn't always understand. And so they'd come and say, hey, I hear this is happening. It's like, okay, but we're an independent school. We don't follow the same, but we still wanted to know what policies were, just to be informed and also to be prepared. So I almost take the stance, is there harm in informing the superintendent? Just so they know that there's a commission and they know what kinds of things that we stand for. And then I would also suggest that we send a letter to HAIS, which is the Hawaii Association of Independent Schools, which I presume Maui Prep is a part of that association in order to get their accreditation and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Rocco?
Yeah, just make sure that the letter indicates that we understand that he is not over that, so that he doesn't feel like we're attacking him.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
Just so everybody knows that the letter be addressed to the prep school with a CC to everybody else that was listed. So we're not gonna be able to, whatever everybody else responds to them being CC'd on all letter. So. And Rocco, go ahead and stand.
Rocco.
Oh, I think that it was kind of covered, but I really feel like, you know, using this letter in a way to make sure that, I mean, anyone in this education system in Hawaii needs to see that we're taking a stand on this particular issue right off the bat, that we don't need it to happen in another school for us to issue another letter. Like, this is something that should get everybody's hair on the back of their necks stiff right now that it's happening like right off the bat in January. So that was the only question that I had was like, who's receiving this letter? But I think that everybody kind of answered that and we all agreed.
Yeah. And Rick?
Yeah, I did have a question. Last month, we saw a copy of the draft letter, and this month I kept going through because we received all the letters from the community. This month I can't see what the letter looks like. Is it in there somewhere and I just can't find it?
No, I didn't, no, I pulled that back, but that was a statement, and I pulled that draft back since I wrote that for this commission and I gave it to private work. And I wasn't gonna draft something else until I knew exactly, I wasn't gonna go through the, of drafting something until I knew what the will of this commission was. So, but yeah, so that's why it's not there.
So will it be like the last month's letter? Last month's letter was good. I guess I just wondered if it know what we're writing, what we're saying, right? I mean, I agree we should write one.
We just said, the motion was to condemn it and making sure that they know we condemn it and that if you like the tone of what was in that other statement, we can use something similar to that where it calls upon the DOE and Maui County to remove their funding or pull back those taxpayer dollars if they're gonna move forward with this bigoted thing. So the goal is for them not to enforce this bigoted policy. But we then now have we offer them the carrot and we also have the stick.
I'm okay with that. I personally do not want them receiving my taxpayer money if this is a policy they're gonna have.
Right.
Sorry, Beth, were you gonna speak?
I will check with our budget people as to see what exactly is, I'm not familiar with how that works for a private independent school under the Hawaii Independent School Association. I actually didn't know that they received any money from our funding. I'm not sure if it is independent, whether they would receive it from another source, and I don't know what that source is.
Thank you, Beth.
Appreciate that. I appreciate you looking into it because others have tried and not gotten a clear answer. So thank you for being on this commission and taking on that task because this is really important for all of us to know.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Then let's have public testimony before we take a vote. Again, there are multiple letters in the board packet, but if anyone here today present from the public would like to give any additional testimony?
Okay, since I haven't spoken on, except for making the motion, I want you all to know that I've spoken with multiple parents and multiple advocates, or allies over there on Maui about this. They have reached out, and they are just looking for any kind of support they can get. And this is, I believe, we are the first state agency or state name tied officially with the state that's actually taking this up. And so whatever support we can. So I encourage everybody to vote yes on this, and that we do need to send a message loud and clear that who we are, what we stand for, and that even if they are an independent school, it turns out they didn't actually receive taxpayer dollars, that this is still not acceptable. Because the negative impact this has as an overall community is just absolutely disgusting. And the fact that they think they can do this, what they've done to the other board members by kicking them, telling them to leave or get out. I don't agree with this new policy that they wanted to do in the dark of night. that anything we can do to continue to put the spotlight on this and make it as uncomfortable as possible for those bigots, I'm all for.
And it is
We've
multiple
had,
families. Sandy.
we've had a few teachers reach out to us here at the station who are very concerned about it. I mean, at the school.
Philip, are you raising your hand?
So just speaking of that and as far as who receives the letter, is it is it appropriate for it to go out to news, media people to take us, like, how do we, I don't know how that works. Like, I feel like everybody should know. Presumably we're all going to vote to send the letter. If we do, is it cool to make a public statement like we publicly condone this action?
Yeah, since Kat's in charge of media, once we get that done, once the letter's drafted and out, we can post something when that Kat okays to our social media channels. Making sure that we're adding our voice to all the other ones that have already come out. Because the Stonewall Caucus has come out and condemned it, Pirate Work has come out and condemned it. And I know there are other people that have done that, other individuals and other organizations. And hopefully that once we do it, and it will unfortunately not give people cover, as it were, but have other people step up and also join in the choir. That we need to show as we've seen, all the letters of testimony we've gotten on this issue, that we definitely need to do something. I think this is the first step. This is not the last step. And we all need to remember that. Just because we talk about it once doesn't mean it's going to fall off the agenda, that these are things that we need to follow up on. And that we hope that other people know that they can come to us. We're sure they have other issues, or at least allow us to help them amplify their voices.
Maybe somebody will organize a field trip.
Oh, the teacher.
I'd go. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, is anyone abstaining from the vote?
Oh, Chair, if you could just check, triple check to see if there's any other public testimony.
Yes. Any other public testimony? Okay. With no abstentions, it's getting late today, folks, goodness. Do I have any no's? Then all those in favor? Okay, that passes. Okay, that action will be taken. The letter will be written and sent.
On a personal note, I do want to thank all those that are watching here or are going to be watching on YouTube from Maui Prep that reached out to us. I do thank you for your time and energy, and we are here to support you. And if you already have our email addresses, if you need anything else, you can reach out to us through social media or through our Gmail accounts, we'll do what we can.
Thank you, Michael. Echoing that sentiment. We don't know what's happening unless you tell us, so please always keep us posted, and we've got your backs. Rick?
Yes, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I need to double check on something that we talked about in past already. I'm just making sure I understood. Am I correct that if, as a private citizen, I wish to help the nurse practitioner, Dr. Ramirez, who had reached out to us regarding the nurse practitioner addition to the old law that currently requires the MD to sign off on birth certificate gender designation, I can do that. Am I allowed to still do that, even though as a commission we can't take it up for this because it wasn't on our agenda in time? But again, they've got a week, and I thought they said if. Go ahead.
Like Aaron said, as long as you're not saying on behalf of the commission, but you as a public citizen, absolutely.
Okay.
And that goes for everything, anything that goes up. Just being a commissioner does not limit you what you can do in your personal capacity. Just don't go rob a bank, tell them you're a commissioner. That's all I ask.
It's just the official thing has to go through on the agenda and through the meeting, so.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing that I neglected to mention when we asked about announcements is that tomorrow morning, the Kapuna movie put on by the LGBT Legacy Foundation, free to anyone at Hawaii Theater, is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane at Hawaii Theater, free movie for the Kapuna. But you can go even if you aren't a Kapuna.
Thank you, Rick. All right, we're getting close to the end, so I want to just get through some of these things here. Number 2, under new business, discussion and vote on policy on how to address urgent LGBTQ+ issues in real time. And the proposed policy is in the board packet. Any discussion around that? Rick?
Yes, this is one that I did get 2 different contacting me about. The response was very negative. The feeling was that this was, that they were saying, well, tell me what kind of an emergency would require this. And I'm afraid I didn't have a good response to that question. People wanted to know more about why what this would be. And I'm afraid that when I talked to them issue and how we weren't able to act because it wasn't on our agenda. And they said, yeah, but you could do it the next month, right? And I said, well, yeah. So I don't think that I understand in what circumstance, if I read the policy right, it is that 2 people would be able, that you and Michael would talk about an issue and decide if it needed a rapid response. And then you would act on behalf of our commission. And they said, well, tell us something that would require that immediate response. And I wasn't sure exactly. So there seemed to be question about what this was and how this was going to work, given that we have a 14-member commission and all of them might have input and 8 members voting. And then they said, well, 2 members needed to go through the commissioner. So that was the issue, I guess.
Well, the Maui prep is a perfect example that we would, since it wasn't able to be put on the agenda, that we've now waited a month to have our voices heard, to actually be able to step out and be able, and other things, like if we wanted to respond to the Olohilani, when that hate crime that took place at the Olohilani, let's call it what it was. This would give us the ability to do that. And be able to respond in real time, especially with what's coming down the pike. We are gonna need every arrow in our quiver to be able to respond. And this commission should be able to, on things that are cut and dried, black and white on these issues, be able to respond. And that means any one of you commissioners can bring anything to us, right? The public can bring something to us. As long as Kat and I agree on it, she's a lot more cautious than I am. As you all can tell, that we need to be able to address these issues in real time, but we cannot wait some of these things that we find out the day before the meeting, and then we have to wait a whole month before we can respond to it. Or if it comes out right after the meeting, and then we have to wait a whole month before this commission can actually respond. So this would at least give us urgent things that cannot wait, and if Kat and I don't agree, we don't agree, nothing gets said officially from the commission. Again, it doesn't stop us from doing anything in our own private capacities.
But then we bring it back, if we're not agreeing, then it does go on the agenda and it is discussed with all of you.
And even if we do agree, we still bring it back when we get confirmation that you agree with our action, and if you didn't, then we live and learn it for the next time. So.
Shanda.
I think another thing that is relevant is, while we have our legislative priorities to push forward with things, there could be at any moment a piece of negative legislation that would come out and require action immediately, right? They give us 48 hours before there is opportunity to provide testimony, and that's just we're completely incapable of responding as a commission to anything that comes up specifically in the legislature that could be horrible.
Or in support of, for that matter.
Hey, this is Erin. There are different rules and laws regarding submission of testimony, and we can talk about that offline and maybe I can kind of teach you about that so it's easier for you to understand. But I just want to ask a quick question about the board packet. I thought there's supposed to be I thought the draft policy is in the board packet, but it's not appearing in the packet that I have. It says like see attachment 2, but am I just not good at finding attachment? Oh, maybe it's this one. Interim issues. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you for helping me.
I tried to make it, I'm trying to make the board packets all one single document instead of multiples.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay,
Aaron, I am always happy to talk with you and learn more, so please, yes.
if I might, then one of the questions also that came to me, and I admit that I didn't know, I wasn't as well prepared as I maybe should have been. I should have checked back and asked questions. When we talk about actions, what we're saying is being able to, for example, is this where we're able to respond to media inquiries and like, I'm trying to think of what it is like, would we generate letters because of this policy? Or is this something that somebody would simply do by sending mail? I'm not sure what actions would be allowed by this policy. That's, I guess, and when it would take place.
So it's actions that would come from the commission. So that means, you know,
Like the letter, we just
it's not everybody writing letters. It would specifically come from
the commission.
the commission.
So we would maybe, you could have written the letter quicker. As soon as we heard about this, you guys would have talked about it and said, hey, I think this is something I'd like to get it in as quick as now that it's in the media and things. And then that's what we would send through.
Yes, if you all agree that this is gonna be something that we can do. That's the point, right? That's what we're voting on, would be giving us the permission to act in between agendas.
Yeah. But we still have to come back and get to say whether you agree or disagree with what we did, or if you want us to do more. If you want this commission to do more, then there's other things. Because like we saw 8 years ago when with them separating kids, the borders. That's something we should be speaking out against, and that is something that doesn't necessarily fall within anything that we've already approved with our legislative package. That we could join a coalition, for something that comes up out of to be rapid response between commission meetings. Because, and that would then, again, if you disagree with what Kat and I agreed to, then we could always pull back and we would then, or remove ourselves from that coalition or what have you, or not do anything further until we debate it again.
And please know that if something does come up, I can reach out to, like, for example, if it's something around healthcare, I might reach out individually to Shanda to gather more information from her before a decision is made. That's what I would depend on all of you for, is your own areas of expertise in your own geographic regions, right?
Actually, commissioners, this is Deputy AG Aaron Lau. I'm going to ask you to suggest that you table this. I think I need time to look exactly at this policy, just based on the direction that this conversation has taken. It wasn't what I had expected. And so I think the issue is, as I'm sorry, I missed who said it earlier. It's the unclear there seems to lack clarity as to what kinds of actions that you would be taking, you know, and if it's really truly board actions, then I think it has to be analyzed under sunshine law, as opposed to like a media response.
I have a question. Can we make the motion so that media responses can be immediate if everybody's clear with that, Aaron, where we could do that, main meetings, because if the paper or and Sandy would be the expert on it. But if the news or the paper or somebody called us or called Kat and asked her, they wouldn't allow her time to go back in meet with the commission, they would want a response.
Instant.
Well, it depends. Like if you're doing a broadcast, they'll give you a deadline. And so you'll have maybe like 2 or 3 hours, but yeah, it's pretty quick turnaround.
So can we make a motion to approve the rapid response for, I think, anything that's in the media, like to make media statements, because it's already kind of approved that Kat can be our media person.
Okay, so you like amend the
And
draft
just we're
policy
authorizing
to
her
make
be
it
on
a
the face.
media?
It's not kind of approved. Kat has already been given the authority or chair to deal with media inquiries. So the request from Aaron is to table this. So I move the table to the next meeting.
Can I have a second? Philip, second.
I
Any
second.
extension? Oh, public testimony? Sorry, Joe, did you want to say something?
No, I was just seconded.
Okay, thank you. Any abstentions from the vote? Any noes? All those in favor of tabling for the next meeting? Thank you, and Aaron, I will definitely follow up with you to schedule a time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we are at 4:34. The things that we did not get to yet were discussions on inviting Governor Josh Green to a meeting. Not sure if maybe someone has any kind of personal connection on that one. That would be good to know. But we can talk about that and private funding and creating a mission statement on the next agenda. Oh, sorry, Michael, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, everybody start putting your thinking caps on that one, and if you have any ideas for a mission statement, draft them, send them so they can be included in the board packet. And the same thing with any other community announcements that you want people to know about that will happen around our board meetings, to go into the board packets to help amplify that, instead of just announcing them here at the meeting. It's, so that the public has access to those as well.
Oh, there was one more announcement. It's Queer Women's Board Games Night at the Legacy Center on the 25th.
Yes, my wife and I went to one of those and it was quite fun. Okay, so any discussion around adjourning?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
public testimony on adjourning. I always forget that. Okay, any abstentions? All those in favor of adjourning? We are adjourning at 4:35. Thank you all very much for your service.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.